In this video, I'm going to walk you through the 8 phases of the 90-day year. You might have seen this before already with some other material, but I wanted to kind of dive into it more deeply with you so you really understand how all of these 8 components fit together and how you'll be applying it daily or bi-weekly or every 90 days, because each one of these components has a different time frame to them. But the power of it is we have so much activity that's targeted, that's specific, that's focused, that we end up completing all those projects that we've wanted to get to, and also complete them in a manner and in a speed other people can't compete with because of the way that all these components work together. So we start over here in this first column area, which is the phases of 1 to 3 in the 90-day matrix. This first one, the 90-day data lens, is all about us taking a look at the past and getting awareness on where we have our strengths, getting the data on ourselves. We rate ourselves on a bunch of different things. That's inside of the playbook or the workbook. And when we also are taking a look at where we've had missed opportunities in the past. With all of my athletic clients, we always take a look at game film and we're analyzing, where could we improve? Where did we have strengths in the game? Who, when they were competing us, how did they beat us possibly, so that we know next time what we can be working on, because it influences the practice time that we spend, and it also influences the game plan that we're going to have going forward as well. Well, there's no difference in how entrepreneurs and people who are trying to achieve big things, we need to be doing the same thing. It's just that typically most people just want to hard charge straight into the future. I'm going to just keep on hustling and working hard. I'm all about grit and I'm all about hustle, but there's a point in time where we really want that hustle that we're using and putting forward really returning a lot of dividends for us. We have a great return on effort. I say it all the time. So if we're going to be hustling hard, let's make sure that as much of our hustle that we're putting out there is actually returning something, and we're just not hustling for the sake of trying to make ourselves look really important or busy to other people. The only way that we can do that is if we if we take a good hard look at our activities. So we unpack that stuff, and that's what it's so important to dive into that workbook and do that. And after we have that information, we jump into this why compressor area, and this is all about gathering the vision and the theme going forward. This phase 1 area gives us amazing awareness and insight on the missed opportunities and the strengths that we have, but then we also need to jump into, well, why? What's the vision and the theme that we're moving forward? Now, I'm not talking about diving really deeply into the why. If you can, great. But I find it stalls a lot of people. They're sitting on the couch trying to find their big why. I'm telling you, working with amazing people, many of them really didn't have a big why behind why they were doing things. They were interested in it slightly. A lot of times they fell into what they're doing very accidentally. It was a byproduct of other activity that they were doing. So trying to come up with some big why is counterproductive. But what's the vision? What are we trying to work towards? Vision is not a goal. And then we have what I call a theme. I want to organize, when I think of the big opportunities that lay ahead of me, what is the theme of my next 90 days? What is the overarching theme of it? It's kind of like the 80-20 rule. Is my next 90 days going to be all about marketing? Is that going to be the major theme of it? Because that major theme ends up organizing the types of goals that I shoot for. If my theme is all about audience building, then your goals should roll up to that theme. 80% of your goals should roll up to building an audience or growing the audience. Or if your theme is all about expanding your retail store into another outlet or expanding it into other areas in your local area, then your goals and your projects should be rolling up towards that, not scattered towards a lot of other sort of different or disparate themes. We're not going to have a theme about systems and marketing and finance and hiring. We're going to have one organizing theme. And then our goals roll up to that organizing theme. Now we get down to this third area, this paragon of priority. We have inside the workbook this goal tournament that we run our goals through. I want you to list out all the goals and all the projects that you've kind of had on your mind or that you'd like to get to or that you'd like to achieve. but obviously they're constrained by the 90 days. What are the goals and projects you would love to have in the next 90 days? Now, of course, we only have a certain amount of resources that we have available to ourselves, and those resources determine what we should be going after then. And when we're going through this goal tournament that's inside the workbook, you're going to take a look at, well, what's the value of these goals? And as you're moving through them, which one of these has the highest impact on where I'm at right now? Which one could really move the needle? And it might be one that you don't want as much as another one, but that one is the highest impact. Take care of that one. If there's some low-hanging fruit that you can achieve in the next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever the case is, then hit that. Get that win under your belt. Get that thing working for you, producing for you possibly. And then we also have to organize those goals under, well, do these goals apply to the theme that I referenced in phase 2? Because if they're not, then I'd question that. It's not that we can't have goals outside of the theme. I like to use the rule of thumb of 80-20. 80% of all your goals will roll up to the theme. 20% of your goals will be outside of that theme. Maybe there are some other things that are really important that you'd like to get done, but they don't maybe apply to your overall theme of building an audience or creating new products, launching a new website or new e-commerce store, or launching onto a new platform, whatever your business is and whatever that theme is. So after you've now chosen the high value, high impact goals, then we move into this 90-day cycle and the growth cycle area where we outline the outcome, we pick our targets, which we did back here essentially, and we're just choosing those picking those objectives or the outcomes so that we can create our SPIs, the strategic performance indicators. And this is all about what's the strategy, what are the strategies you're going to employ in order to hit that outcome. And I know for a fact this is where people get really stuck. So I'll have some supporting material on strategy stuff here for you, but your strategies are like levers. And oftentimes people don't think about time as being a strategy. And it can be. If you're going to be trying to reach a goal or improve something in your business, one of the major strategies you're going to be using is, I'm going to now be devoting more time to this. So time is a strategy. Money is a strategy. The way you're going at something is the strategy. After I've developed that strategy, then I'm going to create a performance indicator. And that always is sticking to about a 2-week cycle. We refer to it as the 2-week cycle. So it's, if my strategy was to do free workshops, that's going to be my way of getting my company or my product or my service out to people, is doing these free workshops. Then that's the strategy. The performance indicator I have is how many of those am I going to do in the next 2 weeks? Well, I want to do 2 in the next 2 weeks. Or if my strategy is to grow the audience on YouTube, then how many videos am I going to produce on YouTube and upload in the next 2 weeks? How many people am I going to network? That would be another performance indicator. How many people am I going to network with on YouTube? So after we've established the 2-week number, then we move down and we map out our processes and our tasks in order to reach that strategy. And that's important. This is the how-to. Who's doing what? When are they doing it? And where is it happening? And these things are all things that you can essentially schedule into a calendar. This is to-do list type activity. This is where execution happens. But the key with why this 90-day year is so powerful is it employs the strategic part of the goal achievement process. And most systems or programs or ways of trying to achieve a goal does not take strategy into account. The reason, if you look at other people, why they might be more effective or why they're getting better results than someone else, it's because typically underneath the surface of it all, what you're seeing the activity that they're doing, which is the process, but what you're not seeing is the type of strategy that they have in place, which is below the surface. It's the classic iceberg effect. What you're seeing on top of the ocean is the tip of it, and that's the processes and the actions and the activities that you can witness someone doing, but what you don't see is the deep strategy below the surface. And don't get too frustrated with this. If you struggle with strategy, don't worry about it. The more you run this cycle, your mind will naturally retrain itself to think in this context. Okay, so after we have the tasks that roll up to our strategy, we work those over the next couple of weeks. And then in the map analysis, this is where we sit back after 2 weeks and we analyze, okay, well, these activities that I was doing, how effective are they? Are they working? Are they not working? Am I missing some things? Do I need to add some more in here? And then ultimately, is that strategy working as well? Maybe I chose the wrong strategy. Maybe it's a great strategy. I need to be devoting even more time to it because the return on it is amazing. So I'm going to devote even more resources, which is my time or my money or my team members, to that particular strategy because it's just working so well. And after we do that, after we do that analysis, we take a look at our 2-week activity. Then we just continue on for another 2 weeks. Maybe we add another strategy. Maybe we add some more tasks or activities to it. But that's how this works until we achieve the ultimate outcome. Or maybe we achieve it sooner, and then we can add another goal. This zone of execution area, this is how we work our days. I have pull the big levers. And pulling the big levers is what are the big activities that are going to give you the highest impact growth in your day. And we try to front load those things as quickly as possible, or we make sure that we block off time in our days so that those are achieved. Because the moment we step into the day, there's many people or many things that want to crawl into our headspace and pull our distraction away from the important things that we need to be doing. And we track it and we measure it, and we have the software that allows us to do that as well. And we log and we pile things up because there's no shortage of ideas that come along. But what we want to do is we just want to log it. We don't want to attack it yet. We just want to log that information. And it can go into what we call the pile-up zone, which we've got additional training on that later. And then, of course, we run this end-of-day optimizer, which is just me getting you to start to take a look at what I call the 5 performance pillars. And again, there's additional training on that. Don't need to jump into it right now. But these 5 performance pillars are literally the 5 core things that when I've been working with high-performing individuals, we take a look at because they make the biggest impact on the quality of our life, the quality of our business, the quality of our emotional and mental and physical states. So we just track the data. It's just getting some data on it. And then what's amazing is you're able to see trends in your productivity, in your effectiveness from just simply spending 8 seconds or 10 seconds to rate this end-of-day optimizer. Then in phase number 8, we have this level up 75. And that's basically on the 75th day of a 90-day year, we take a look back at all the activity that we've been doing over the last 75 days, and we basically unpack it just like we would over here. We don't do it maybe sometimes, or not maybe, we don't do it as in depth as we do it at the end of the year, but we still run it. We spend a couple of hours just analyzing the last 75 days, all the activity that we've done, taking a look at, wow, look how far I've come in this past 75 days. Look how much we've improved, how much the needle has been really moved on things. And then we also, at this point in time, take a look at our next 90 days and we start mapping out that paragon of priority again and making sure we're wrapping our goals back up to the theme or the vision, not the theme, but the vision of where we're going towards. And we decide on a new theme for our next 90 days. And then we pick our goals for that next 90 days. Many times they might look very similar to the 90-day cycle that you just went through. But it's so powerful. And here is you're going to hear me say this a lot. A lot of the times when you're working this, the biggest results are going to be coming at the end of your first 90-day year. Just like anything, you're learning this. This is all a completely new concept. And you're going to get frustrated with it because you're going to feel like, what is he saying there? Or what does that mean? Or I don't know about that. That's natural. That's a part of the learning process. But if you just work this activity starts producing dividends for you by the end of your 90-day year. It's just, I've run this so many times with people. And then people come into the Facebook community 90 days later and they're like, oh my God, Todd, you're so right. That's exactly what happened. My I'm 100 days into this 90-day year philosophy, and my revenue is taking a hockey stick approach. It's all of a sudden just shooting up and up and up. And while I'm really, really happy for the person, of course, I'll be happy for you. I'm going to sit there and say, yeah, I know. It's just the way that it is, because you're just investing such smart activity in the way that you're going after your goals and the high impact opportunities that are sitting in front of you. So that's the overview of the 90-day year. Now you're going to see I've got O, C, and T in here. So owner, coach, and team. I'm using, essentially words that are coming out of sport, but I refer to all the people that are in my business as team members. And some people have managers. I call them coaches. But at every single phase, if you've got a team, it's best to run this with your team. You've got the owner, everyone's involved here. And maybe here this is typically the owner. I mean, you're the one who owns the vision of your business, and you're the one who's going to ultimately choose the theme of what you think is most important for the area of your business. As your business grows, you're going to have other people responsible for themes in the different areas of your business. But typically, for small business owners, we're involved in all the areas. Then when we get down to the paragon of priority and we're picking all of our goals, we include everybody in that process, all of our team members. What are our goals? Like what do you think? What are our opportunities here? What are some of the things that we could be going after? And then ultimately, the owner ends up making the decision on what the outcomes are. And the owner most of the time understands the strategy. If you have an amazing team in place, then those coaches, what I would call, important people inside your business, that could be a director of marketing or anything, they could be involved in this process as well. But ultimately, this rolls up to the owner. And then the people who actually perform the processes and the tasks, that's your team members. But if you're a one-man show, if you're a one-woman show and you're a solo entrepreneur, obviously you're responsible for this there. And then the analysis is done by these people who are taking care of this activity. And so if it's you, then it's you. And we iterate and they recommit on those tasks. And that's how these roles can play a part. Just a little legend, because I know that a lot of these things are, or a lot of the people that are learning this are going to be solo business owners. But if you do have a team of people, this is how they can kind of plug themselves into this process as well with you. And I know that the results that you're going to get are new products, innovative services, increased profits, and a winning team. And ultimately, when you keep on running this, it's rapid growth and scale, preeminence in your market, in your niche, because you're someone who just knows how to execute. At the end of the day, that's what my want is for you, is to be able to consistently execute, because it's that consistent execution that causes you to rise above everybody else who's sitting on their hands, or if they aren't sitting on their hands and they are doing work, they're doing a lot of busy work because they don't understand the strategic portion of achievement. Okay, so that is the overview of the 8 phases of the 90-day year. And I also have another video where I'm going to do a walkthrough of the workbook real quickly, just so you can kind of get a lay of the land and understand what's inside of it and the importance of it.